your dining room table is an absolute hot mess. I mean, look at this. You got books and games and little figures all over the place. But what if I told you this wasn't in fact a hot mess, but this was in fact the newest tabletop miniatures fighting game, Splatter Shoot, or Shoot, we're not entirely sure on the title of this, and you'll see why in a minute, is in fact a miniatures game that uses your stuff. It's completely modular. That's right, I have girls in the house. We're using Care Bears versus Uncle Scrooge over here. That's right, and that's what you're supposed to do. This is a shooter game that involves movement and tools and gadgets and all sorts of things that you would see in a tabletop miniatures game, but you get to make it all out of your stuff. So we're gonna take a look right now at this game, Splatter Shoot, see what it is, see if you could invest your time in it, or should you invest your time in it right now. So first things first, how does it play? I mean, I see a lot of crazy stuff out here that clearly doesn't belong to this game, but how does Splatter Shoot or Shoot play? Well, first of all, you start with your team, with your base behind one of these walls that it comes pre-made with. Now you can, it says, if you want to, use these pre-made characters, but then it says, why would you want to do that when you can use your own figures? So get out of here. We're using this Uncle Scrooge versus a Care Bear over there. But anyway, you set up your base, and they set up their base somewhere out on the board, and then you lay out all these different things that are relatively sized towards your figures. Now look, this book is exactly right about half of Uncle Scrooge's size. That's good for when it comes to jumping and climbing and things like that. Same with the Care Bear, he's a little taller, so he has a slight advantage. You'll notice there are tokens laid out all over the board. Those tokens are for different things, where you can get new weapons and new gadgets. Everyone starts with a weapon and a gadget. Before the game begins, you'll notice this one is a ladder. It says place this card against any object next to your hero. Climb an object for free, no higher than the combined height of this card and your hero. So now Uncle Scrooge could get in fact up on top of Terraforming Mars Prelude up here. Just like this, by playing it, he could climb up here, get this weapon card. Take some pot shots and all that such as that. Now, how does the game actually work? So you started with these cards, yes, but what do you do on your turn? So you will take a splatter card from here. First one, this is your action card. Ignore everything except this bottom part down here. This is your movement. So for your first turn, Uncle Scrooge can move 3 card lengths. What you'll do is you'll place the card down, just such as this, next to Uncle Scrooge. You'll pick him up, move him to the end of the card, and then try not to drop him, a little top heavy. Do it again, 2, you can move 3 card lengths, 3. Those 4 actions you could do would be moving like we just saw. You can then collect these tokens which are out here. Once you touch one of these tokens, it will move by flipping up a card. You show which direction it moves. It moves straight that way. You'll flip it up and lay it flat. It will move whichever way it points, that many spaces. So you would just do a card length, and this token would then move that many spaces, which would put it up on top of that box over there. You would get a new weapon. You can only ever have 1 weapon at a time, so you would in fact have to trade out your weapon. Uncle Scrooge currently has a Gatling gun right now, so what he can do as another action, instead he could take a shot, which would be his range. So he has to be at least 1 card length away from his enemy. He definitely is. Then he draws 4 splatter cards. Now once these 4 cards are drawn, you have to be able to aim and shoot one of these places that is available. Once you take 10 damage to 10 different areas, and by the way, this game's not for the kiddies. It's actually very, very violent and gory, really so much so, even with the cutesy art. So just kind of be warned about that. You take a look at these. Now here's the deal. Your damage is up here in the top left. If you were moving, you can't do damage that is sitting still. So since I moved, I will not do this damage here. But since I moved, I will in fact do this damage, and this damage if I'm able to see those spots. So in order to see those spots, you would have to do actual eyesight, which looks something like this. In order to get a line on the actual eyesight, you would put your eye down, or at least the camera down, close to, I'd even recommend using a camera, down to what Uncle Scrooge can see. Only the head of the enemy is visible. So then you look and see which of these damage cards apply to this particular instance. There's things like right arm ripped, left kidney gone, right kidney, and then open chest wound. Well, again, none of these are visible for Uncle Scrooge right now, so that Care Bear is in a really good spot for Uncle Scrooge because you can't actually give any damage to him right now. Now, you don't have to move all your card lengths at once. You can split those card length movements up if you want to, get a better vantage point, get up on top of terrain. Now, once we're up here, in fact, I would leave those cards in play. Now you notice we have a much better shot. I would actually be able to hit that left kidney from the Care Bear, and the Care Bear would end up taking damage. What you do is you take the damage cards, you tuck them into your medical record, which is basically a card with a rubber band on it. I'm telling you, this thing looks like a prototype on purpose in the sense of practicality, not in art. It actually looks kind of cute, but again, very gory. You put this in here, once there's 10, you win the basic game. Now, there are some special rules for different things like capture the flag or race to the middle or deathmatch with 3 lives, but that's how the game plays right there. You're going to draw cards, you're going to do damage based on what actions you have according to your your equipment and your gear and all that sort of stuff, your gadgets, and you're going to see who wins the game out. But it's neat in the sense that you get to set up your player board however you want with whatever's around the house. You don't have to buy expensive terrain. In fact, it discourages you from that because it's supposed to look kind of makeshift like this. And if you look at this, again, this is just fun. It's just silly to have this zany kind of looking makeshift board out here. So what's that sound? Is that the sound of you throwing away your Warhammer or your Hero Clicks or your Imperial Assault? Of course not. No, this is not the kind of game that does that. It's not meant to replace Warhammer or Hero Clicks or Imperial Assault. What it is meant to be just a zany, fun, spatial game, really, that has to do with real line of sight, eyesight, and just having fun with the stuff around your house. If you have a set of encyclopedias, which it's 2018, so I doubt you do, but if you do, there's your game board. If you have a bunch of games you want to just throw out there, there's your game board. If you're looking for something to do that actually sets up really quick and plays pretty quick, in the sense that, now it can go on for a little while, obviously, because if you can't get that line of sight, if you keep moving around each other and dodging and ducking, well, then there's issues with that. But it's a silly game in a sense, but it's also pretty well thought out. I mean, it uses its materials very well. Considering the box is very tiny, it gets what it tries to accomplish done. You get the feeling of an arena shooter with just throwing stuff on the table and having tokens and all these different weapons. There's tons of weapons cards, there's advanced weapons, there's advanced gadgets, area bombs that do all kinds of damage, little tweaky rules about if you're moving or not moving, right? There's all kinds of special rules as well that do different tweaks to the game. It even has something that settles your arguments for you. If you have a question about the game, does this work, does this not work, you flip up a splatter card and there's a section here that says yes or no. Whatever it is, that's the rule you go with. So the main issue I have with the game is really the name of it. It's on the box, it's called Splatter Shoot, and it says splattershoot.com. However, in the instructions, they only call it Shoot, which is highly confusing because what's the game called? I'm assuming the box art came last, therefore, or maybe it came first, and therefore Splatter Shoot is the title. But just so you know, that is kind of wonky. So if you're trying to find this on BGG or somewhere like that. Now, I read today somewhere this is like a Walmart.com exclusive. I don't know if that's true or not, but all I know is this is a neat game and it definitely merits trying out. Again, it might not be something you keep in your collection forever, but it's unique. It does something different. It takes what you already have. You don't have to go buy an expensive army. You don't have to go paint anything. You can play around with just anything. Like, I have girls at home, so we have Care Bears, right? Uncle Scrooge, all that sort of stuff. It's just neat because it takes what you already have and lets you just play around with it. It's almost like when you were a kid playing with plastic soldiers or army men or something like that, right? And actually throwing them on the table and pretending. But now it comes with rules. One thing I forgot to mention, if you're playing with a larger table, you use the cards this way for movement. If you're playing with a shorter table, use it this way for movement. So they even thought out how to tighten up the game, tighten up the movement if you don't have that much space. So well done on this. It's a lot neater than I thought it was going to be. To be quite honest with you, when I saw the box, I went, okay. But I'm really pleasantly surprised. And again, throw away all the miniatures it comes with. Throw away, you don't even need these really. You can make your own walls out of your stuff, but throw that stuff away. Go get some books, go get some games, go get anything and just throw it on the table and have fun with this. Play around with it, experiment with it. If you don't like it, give it to someone else. But the whole idea is play around with this and just let your imagination work. I mean, even when I was filming this, I like the idea of using the camera to check a line of sight. It makes it more immersive even. So a lot of good things to say about Splatter Shoot that I did not think I was going to say. I honestly thought I was going to hate this, but the concept and the idea is brilliant. Now again, it can be a little slow because if you keep drawing bad cards and you don't have that sight to the character where you need to hit them, it can slow things down, but there are gadgets and things to mitigate that. So go check this out, if not just to try it. So I'm Brian Drake here on the latest retro on the Dice Tower. Thanks for watching. Again, here's a link down below to all my other videos that I have on the Dice Tower. So make sure to go check those out. Leave me comments below. Leave me comments below what you think another game like this is that you want to play just to try, just for the sake of experiment. 504 comes to mind. But let me know what you think in the comments below, okay? Until next time, we'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.